2 years ago, I was in Shanghai in a stand very much like this, promoting Glasgow Prestwick. And during that time, I very quickly identified that the e-commerce business in the UK was getting stronger. So at that time, I went back to Prestwick, spoke to the executive team, and our aim was to position ourselves as the fastest e-commerce option in the UK. So the e-commerce over the last 12 months has been extremely strong at Prestwick. We have two of the major Chinese carriers using Prestwick in China Southern and Air China Cargo. And they have given us great confidence because of our ability to process aircraft and e-commerce freight very fast, very efficiently. And the difference at Prestwick is we have an in-house model in Prestwick. So freight flying into Prestwick is the quickest in the UK. So we are able to process freight and pass it on to the final mile very, very fast and very efficiently. So that has positioned Prestwick. Our strategy was always growing this sector. So what we've done now is grown that sector and stabilised that sector, and we're looking to grow that even further. So we've been speaking to airlines and airline partners over the last 2 days, and everybody now understands PIK and what PIK is bringing to the e-commerce market. So we're very pleased with our progress in the last 12 months. So what we are seeing is the e-commerce is growing very strong. We can see that with the volumes that are coming through Prestwick and the changes what the airlines have introduced. So we've seen other airlines come on to Prestwick, such as Ethiopian, Beijing Capital, Hong Kong Air Cargo, all looking to utilise Prestwick. But the other advantage for Prestwick is export. So for Prestwick, we are looking to support the airlines to export Scottish produce back to China. So we have seen the growth of Scottish salmon, pharmaceuticals, and Scotch whisky going onto the aircraft and heading back to China and Hong Kong. So that has been pleasing to see, and the team has been working very hard in the UK to amplify the opportunities. So we've been working with the government here in China, and we've been working with the government back in the UK to bring all the partners together. So it's not just an e-commerce model, we're actually creating a strong trade lane. So that's our objective and our strategy in the next 12 to 18 months for PIK. So when we, Prestwick, were developing our strategy for China, the Hong Kong route was identified very early as an opportunity for not only produce and e-commerce coming into Prestwick, but produce coming from Prestwick into Hong Kong. So the team, Colin Dye and I, and Nico LaRue, our cargo director back in the UK, we've been working hard about bringing all that together. So when Ethiopian opened this trade route from Hong Kong, we were all very excited. Hong Kong freight was very strong. The government were supporting it, and Hong Kong Airport also were looking to create partnership with PIK because they've identified also the trade lane that could be created between Hong Kong, UK, and back to Hong Kong. So we're super excited to be working with Ethiopian on this trade lane. Yes, we have definitely seen an increase certainly in inquiries and opportunities based on what we've achieved in the last 12 months. What Prestwick has always said at the outset was, we don't want to just do business, we want to create relationships with our airline partners. And it's not just about the airline, but it's also the full supply chain. So Colin Dye and I will also visit the buyers, the suppliers. So we will visit Temu, Shein, TikTok, and understand what are their requirements. And we'll also visit the suppliers who are supplying produce back into China we'll go and visit them and understand what their requirements are. Just yesterday, we had the biggest fish buyer here in China. He was at our stand supporting. He's putting a lot of fresh produce through the airport, and working with him around what does he need, then we can speak with the airlines and support that need. So it is truly a relationship that is growing stronger and stronger, which is great for the airport. And not only is it creating relationships, but it's also creating opportunities at the airport, job opportunities. So we have created over 250 new jobs at the airport. So that's great for the local economy, but it's also great that we're able to supply Scottish produce from a Scottish airport, and the time to play is much quicker, the quickest in the UK. So it's fantastic. It's a great success story.
Yep.
We're really happy about it. Yeah, so there is other strong cargo hubs in the UK, but what Prestwick has positioned itself, we're not predominantly a passenger airport, we're predominantly a freight focused airport. Because we have an in-house model, we are very agile in our capabilities and our ability to change with the market. So that gives us a superior strength to other airports. So if we take an airport that is using an outsource model against airport such as Prestwick that's using an in-house model, we are far more responsive and far more agile to that. Freight planes never run on time. The airport is also a 24/7, no curfew, so we've got great flexibility in what we can deliver. So that is a significant advantage for airlines. They really support the ability to land anytime, any day, and they will be serviced within their KPIs. So we're proud of that fact. Yeah, we definitely see the opportunity. Prestwick's next strategy, we're working with the e-commerce platforms, but our next platform of strategy is about general cargo. So we definitely want to create more trade lanes between the UK and China, and that will be through fresh produce, where it's such as salmon, langoustines, crabs, lobsters, pharma, but also looking at the other general cargo, because having those direct links for dedicated freight and they're not in the belly of passenger aircraft, that's our next move. So part of what we're developing here in China and back in the UK is growing the general cargo options. So that's our plan for the next 12 to 18 months, because we definitely see the growth in that sector. Yeah, so Nico LaRue, our cargo development director, Nico is very focused on the India trade lanes, and only this week Nico was in Edinburgh at a panel understanding what those opportunities are in India. We've hosted Indian companies, we've hosted government at Prestwick, so it's good to understand what are the options and what's next. So that is certainly something in our strategy, is developing the Indian UK market. So it's part of our cargo strategy for the next 3 to 5 years. The airport has invested heavily in the last 12 months. So we've been investing in not only our people and the recruitment, so 250 new jobs. We've invested heavily in all our equipment. So we've bought state-of-the-art loaders, for example, treble loaders. We've bought new dollies, and we've built cool chain facilities at the airport. So we've got the capability to do cool chain for a full 777 aircraft. So lots of investment that has been placed at Prestwick, because we understand to do business of this magnitude and also to be as efficient as we are, you have to invest. So that's part of our investment strategy at the airport. So people, equipment, big investment from Prestwick. We have phase 2 of that investment strategy, which is growing cool chain even further and investing more into parking stands and equipment to handle the aircraft. So big investment, which has been great, which has been supported by the board at at the airport, so everybody understands what success has meant in the last 12 months, what has driven that success, and what will drive that success moving forward. So it's good times. So absolutely focused on this market in China. China and India are definitely the two key markets for Prestwick. We also have Cargolux, Air France, and part of the strategy is to develop business with them, because what we are seeing is that there's opportunity to use the airlines that are flying from Prestwick in correspondence with the Chinese airlines. So lots of good opportunities for us in the next 3 years. I think the other thing I would say is strategy is key when working with the Chinese, because they are very forward thinking, and being in partnership with them, we can align the thinking. So our thinking of the airport and the thinking of our partners is key to the success. So the relationships that we have, we visit China every quarter. We are in the boardrooms of all the major airlines. We're in the boardrooms of all our customers. So it's important that we maintain those relationships and we work together. So their insights are our insights, and the solutions that we create are developed together. That's super important.